Hi there, this is Raquel Boris, host of Rock the Boat, and you're tuned into Dream Chasers, Interviews with the Future.
And I would just meal prep and save money and eat healthy and work out and exercise, all the while looking for opportunities to start a legal business, do it the right way and do things legally, because it was really easy to just think in my mind, like, I could just drive up to Austin, I could go spend this $10,000 on a lot of weed. I know I could turn it into $20,000 very quickly. But I was like, no, not doing that anymore. And I would just look for ways, where can I invest my money? How can I do things legally and start a legal business?
And now a word from our sponsor, High Rise Capital. High Rise Capital is a boutique commercial real estate investment firm that helps high-income professionals, high-net-worth individuals, and family offices obtain above-average returns with reduced volatility and tax efficiency from high-quality commercial real estate investments. High Rise Capital helps clients achieve meaningful investment returns, generate multiple streams of income, and participate in investments that enhance lives and provide a tangible societal benefit. To learn more about High Rise Capital, please visit their website and download their free ebook, More Doors, More Profits, both of which you can find in the show notes. Thank you.
This is Dream Chasers, episode 160 with Alex Coffman.
Hey guys, hi Grandma. This is Adam Carswell, and welcome to Dream Chasers, Interviews with the Future. On Dream Chasers, we bring next level talent to the light. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's get straight to the interview. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome to Dream Chasers, episode 160. I'm your host, Adam Carswell. Hi, Grandma. And we're here live today with Alex Coffman. We've got quite the backstory for you today. Is really just how we got to pressing record. For those of you who may or may not have noticed, we'll just paint the whole picture here with Dream Chasers. As a podcast creator, producer, I found I'm tired of interviewing people and being like, oh yeah, thanks for recording today. Your interview is going to go live in 7 months. I want to get it recorded fresh out of the oven. And there's different ways to do that. But what we found most successful here at Dream Chasers, and shout out to our team that has really made this possible. We go live here in the Facebook group. So thank you for joining us. Make sure you tap the like button, drop some comments here as we make our way through. So we go live here, and then boom, by next Tuesday, brand new episodes out. Now, what happens if recording on that Tuesday or Wednesday, for whatever reason, if the guest has to reschedule, then all of a sudden we got to get a little bit creative. And so that's what we're doing today. Matt Teifke, who's a very good friend of mine, had him on the show before. Him and I were texting not too long ago. I was going through him. You know what? Matt would be a good Johnny on the spot interview. So I reached out to him and he's like, yeah, man, it sounds good. I'm like, all right, cool. So we're going live now. He's like, oh, wait, right now? Like, I can't go right now, man. I'm on a walk with my wife. I'm like, all right, you got anyone for me? He's like, I think I do. And he does. And he did. And that is who is in the building now, ladies and gentlemen, is Alex Coffman. We haven't really even gotten to your story yet, Alex. So let's keep the story rolling. That's how we got here. But kind of share a little bit of your journey with our listeners, kind of maybe where you're from, maybe a ground zero or like a back against the wall type of moment that you had. And then obviously what you're working on now with Matt, which is pretty cool in Austin, Texas.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, and happy to fill in and keep the podcast. Before diving into that, I do want to ask you a question, if that's all right.
Absolutely, man.
So every podcast you do, and maybe every live that you do, you always say, hi, Grandma. And I always wondered, does Grandma watch these videos, or you just saying hello to her, or what's going on there?
Yeah. My grandma, also known as Alma Babuter, which, as I mentioned, we got the Facebook group pulled up on here. So Grandma, I'm about to give you a shout out. Boom. Now, Grandma, if you're joining now, you might have to go back and watch the replay when we're done. But anyways, she does watch and I'd say about 90% of my content. So ladies and gentlemen, keep your eyes peeled for Alma Babuter. That is the Hi Grandma. But I got that from I don't know if I can use a name, but somebody who's very successful in the marketing space. Before they gave a major presentation one time, they said, hi, Mom. And I remember by the person doing that, it caught like the entire audience's attention simply by saying, "Hi, Mom." So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing that. So there you go. But I put the grandma,
Got
I
it.
put my own spin on it, Yeah.
No, I love it. It caught my attention, and I always noticed it. And I wish my grandma could, log into the Facebook and YouTube, other things, so that she could see all the content that we do. So I think that's really cool. So hi, Grandma, hi, Alma. But my story. So, you just want to dive into the whole thing.
Well, you just mentioned something there that definitely stands out to me about what you and Matt are doing. And you said content. I think you said something about YouTube. I love what I've seen you guys have been doing as far as consistency and marketing with your YouTube channel. But yeah, let's do like, I know from what I've never heard the actual story, but I want to say Matt or maybe my sister or somebody you work with was just like, Alex has he has a great like story. Like you overcame something major in your past. And I don't know what it is. And I know you're in the real estate space now. So let's dive into that like life-changing experience that you had, if you don't mind.
Sure. So I've always been very entrepreneurial. I've always, worked for myself in ways, and that's started when I was 12 or 13 years old. And I grew up here. I'm from Round Rock, Texas, which is just north of Austin. Been here my whole life. And when I was younger, when I was 12 and 13, I was entrepreneurial in, not so productive ways. And I was going down the wrong path in life. And basically from 11, 12 years old till I was 21, I was just heavily under the influence the entire time, so from 8th grade till 21 years old, I was smoking weed or drinking, or as I got older, harder and harder drugs every day until, I was a, full-blown heroin addict by the time I was 21. And throughout those 9 to 10 years, a lot of jail. I don't know how I graduated high school. Getting in a lot of trouble, just going down the wrong path. And but that's where my entrepreneurial journey started, making money in that way, and illegal ways, and not doing things the right way. But it was, that's how I lived the first half of my life. The majority of my life. And so, when I was 21 years old, I really didn't enjoy living life that way. At the start, when I'm 8th grade or 11 or 12, it's a lot of fun. Just doing dumb things, hanging out with my friends. And then after a while, though, it stops being fun, and it starts becoming a necessity just to live, right? The substance abuse. And that was the necessity part. The not fun part was probably about 5 or 6 years. And by the end of it, when I'm shooting heroin and taking a lot of pills every day, I'm really not even getting high at that point. And it's definitely not fun. And it's really just to, not go through withdrawals, not get sick, and just to try and function, or what I considered functioning, just to get through the day. Like I had to use drugs just to make it through. And so I really didn't enjoy my life at that point, and I was really miserable, and I was going to die, really, if I continued to do what I was doing. I knew that there was just two outcomes that I would have. I would either go to jail or prison for the rest of my life, or I'd probably die a drug addict. And I got arrested for the last time on August 13th of 2015 for possession of marijuana. I fell asleep long story short, there's, a long story in there, but short version is I fell asleep on the road on I-35. I think I was going to sell some weed or something, and I fell asleep and got in a wreck, and the person I hit didn't get hurt. Myself, I didn't get hurt. I didn't have a scratch on my body. My car was completely totaled. It caught on fire. Police show up, firefighters show up, and I fell asleep during the sobriety test, all of that. But they arrested me for a possession of marijuana, class B misdemeanor. And so I got arrested. I went to Williamson County Jail. And this was like the biggest blessing ever because, I really wanted to get sober. And prior to that night, I probably promised myself thousands of times, I'm going to get sober this time. I'm going to get a real job. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I would not only make promises to, my loved ones, my family, but I would really make that promise deep down inside, and it never happened. And so this was really a huge blessing because now I was forced to be separated. And previously, my family had bailed me out of jail, or I had enough money to bail myself out of jail. And that wasn't the case this time. They weren't going to bail me out, and I didn't have money to bail myself out. And so I had to sit there for, 30 days or so. But while I was there, I really started to have, a spiritual experience and getting closer to God and improving my spirituality. And, had I not gotten in that wreck that night and had I not gone to jail, I may have never taken that step to get separated, because it just, I had to be physically separated to make that, to take that first step. I had tried plenty of times before, and 3 days after I promised myself I was going to get sober this time, I would always convince myself, well, just have a few drinks, or half of a Xanax bar you're not going to, burn everything down again. And I would do that, and then the cycle would just start all over again. And a few months later, I'd find myself in a worse position I was before I started that time. And so being physically separated in jail truly helps me out. And thank God my family stood their ground and basically told me, which they hadn't done up to that point. They hadn't said, they told me this time, Alex, if you, we love you. We're, because I'm calling them from Williamson County Jail, like mom, dad, whoever will answer the phone, please bail me out of jail. And my mom, nobody answered, but my mom did eventually, maybe a few days later. And she said, Alex, we love you, but don't call me, don't call your dad, don't call your sister, your grandparents, your step-parents anymore. If you continue to live life this way, you're no longer going to be a part of our family. Don't come around here, don't contact us. You're on your own. We love you, but we can't watch you. We can't be involved in your life if you continue to live that way. And so that really struck home because me and my mom have always been really, really close. And for her to take that stance and say that, that was probably harder for her to say that than it was for me to hear that. And I knew that. And so that really struck home with me. And by the time that I stayed in there, they didn't bail me out, but they were willing to help me get into a facility to help me. And so while I was in jail, we started looking for some facilities. And by the time I got out, doing time served and for the possession of marijuana, were able to get me into a 120-day facility here right outside of Waco, Texas, and Whitney, Texas. And man, that was really the start of, a new life for me. I'm really a completely different person today than I was then, obviously. But that was the beginning of everything. And, I had a good relationship with God. I was building my spiritual health and my spirituality. And that truly is the foundation for everything today. But I was there for 120 days. When I got out, I went into sober living in Fort Worth, Texas. And I was the happiest I'd ever been. I didn't have anything, like material-wise. I didn't have a job. Had like probably $20 to my name. Chubby, out of shape. I hadn't worked out since when I started doing drugs and drinking and stuff. It was 8th grade, and so I hadn't played sports or exercised since then, really. So I started just improving my life slowly. I was 21 years old. All my friends are graduating from college or close to it, and are doing really well. And I'm 21 years old. I'm sleeping on the top bunk of a bunk bed in sober living. I live with 5 other grown men. I work at Firehouse Subs. I got the first job that I applied to. I was making $8.25 an hour, and I was working on just building my life up from scratch. But I was the happiest that I had ever been, because I had everything internally, and that's all that mattered. I was helping people. I myself was sober, and I felt good. And my purpose was to help other drug addicts and alcoholics get well and find God and, help them improve their life if that's what they desire to do. And that still is my purpose today, is to serve God in that capacity. So that was in late 2015, 2016, I'm doing that. Worked at Firehouse Subs for a year or so. I got a raise to like $8.50. I was super stoked. And, I was riding my bicycle to work and back. And by the end of that year, I was able to save up enough to get a motorcycle because I tried to get a car. However, due to my driving history and my recent wrecks, liability insurance was going to cost me about $900 a month. So I decided to go the motorcycle route, and I could get full coverage for like $100 a month. And the motorcycle was pretty cheap. And so, started slowly building on my life and tying this all into real estate and where we're at today. The entire time I knew that, I knew I was meant for better things than Firehouse Subs. And I knew that things would get better over time, and I didn't need to have, I knew I wasn't going to be doing that for the rest of my life, but I knew I just had to, sorry.
No worries. No worries.
Phone call. I knew I had to put one foot in front of the other, and that's what I continued to do. And so that's basically what I did for about 2 years while saving up every single penny that I made at Firehouse Subs. I managed the sober house that I lived at, so I didn't have to pay rent. I got to live there for free and just be a leader in the house and help the other guys. And so I saved every single penny. I probably, learned how to budget, would spend like $30 a week on groceries. I'd just buy like bulk chicken breasts. I'd buy some vegetables or like that 5-pound log of ground beef, get the best value I could there. And I would just meal prep and save money and eat healthy and work out and exercise, all the while looking for opportunities to start a legal business, do it the right way and do things legally. Because it was really easy to just think in my mind, like, I could just drive up to Austin. I could go spend this $10,000 on a lot of weed. I know I could turn it into 20,000 very quickly. But it's like, no, not doing that anymore. And I would just look for ways, where can I invest my money? How can I do things legally and start a legal business? And actually, one of my friends that I had reached out to at that point in time about where to invest my money, I wish I would have listened. This was 2016. It's like, buy Bitcoin. And I had like, $1,000 or so saved up at this time. And I was like, Bitcoin was like $200. It's like I could buy 5 Bitcoins. Like, what the hell is a Bitcoin? I was like, no, that's dumb. What the, who the hell's buying Bitcoins? And, now that would have been a great investment. But I did that for 2 years. I moved back to Austin. I managed another sober living house in Cedar Park. I got a new job so I lived there for free at the sober living house. Now I got paid a little bit to manage it on top of free rent. I got a job at a country club. I washing dishes, doing food prep. I was making $12 an hour now. And so, things were slowly getting better. Close to my family now, was able to see my grandma on a daily basis if I wanted to,
Nice.
which was great. And so life was slowly getting better and better, and I was just constantly looking for different opportunities. Then I got a job working for an oil and gas company, and learned a lot. This is probably when I first learned how to cold call owners of sorts. My job was to cold call mineral right owners all day long. So we'd pull, mineral rolls just like you would for the tax roll. You'd skip trace their phone numbers, and I'd contact these mineral right owners and see if they'd sell me and my company and the mineral fund their mineral rights. And I did that all day, every day for months until the industry took a little dip. I got let go. Got another job working at this computer, like refurbish. I don't know what you call it. Basically, what they did is they ordered tons of pallets of these computer products. So like Mac, HP, Dell, processors, GPUs, motherboards, keyboards, mouses, screens, all that type of stuff. They'd order these pallets in bulk from like liquidation places of sorts, and we clean them up a little bit, and then we list them individually on eBay or wherever we sold them at. And I was like, wow, this is just like selling drugs. You just buy stuff cheap in bulk and then individually. And I worked at that place for probably 6 months or so, just learning. This was really cool to me. This really opened up my eyes because I've always known how easy it was to, it's not easy. It takes a lot of hard work, but how simple it truly is to be able to start your own business. It's not extremely complicated. You just find something like that, for example, that you can buy and resell, and there you go. You're making good money doing that. And that company made really, really good money. And so I asked my boss at this time if he would be my mentor. I said, hey, man, I love what we're doing here. Would you be my mentor? I want to be able to do this on my own. And then a couple of weeks later, I got fired.
How? Just because you asked about that?
I believe so.
Wow.
That wasn't stated, but
right.
When I got fired, I realized, I said, man, I will never say those words ever again to my boss or someone who could possibly see me as competition. And I think that's what it was I could see who he was ordering these products from, who he was selling to. And I got fired a couple weeks later, which was, again, a huge blessing. I was making like $12 an hour there. And I didn't, I was just, at this point in time, like, I've saved up some money. By then I was investing in cannabis stocks with Matt. I had saved up probably about $40,000 by then. And the $12 an hour didn't really do much for me. I was going to school. It was just fun. Like, at this time in my life, like, it's like I'm a brand new person. It's like this is my first time on earth, so I'm like, 3-4 years old since I got sober.
Right.
Living my new life on this earth. And so everything's just fun. Like, I love learning. I love, doing new things. I love going to school. I love learning new stuff. And these jobs were just kind of fun for me, except Firehouse and the country club. Those weren't a whole lot of fun, but computer business and the oil and gas, I just loved learning new things and learning, in my mind the entire time I'm thinking, all right, what can I learn here today? Or what can I learn at this job to be able to go and start my own legal business? And so I got fired, and I told myself, all right, well, here's your chance, don't go apply for another job. Like, just learn how to swim. Like, whatever business you want to try and start, go do it right now, or you may never do it. And so I did, and I tried to start a computer business similar to that. And man, I was like posting, I didn't have the connections or the right resource to order these big pallets in bulk. And I was looking and running numbers, and I'm not a computer guy at all. Like, the most I know about computers I learned from that job, but like, I don't know what a good processor is. I don't know what, what good computer equipment is. I don't know that stuff. And so I was posting like ads on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, trying to just buy computer equipment, and they weren't good leads. Like, I would drive down to Austin, I'd be buying probably like stolen computers from like meth heads and like apartments with no utilities, and it was just real weird. And I made a little bit of money doing that, but at that time, a friend of mine who I'd gotten sober with contacted me and said that, he wanted to start a business in the recovery industry, helping people, and asked me if I'd be willing to partner with him on that. He lived in Dallas. He would handle Dallas. I live in Austin. I'd handle Austin. And so we did that for about 2 years, and it was called Fourth Dimension Recovery. And then we found out, we got a letter from some lawyers, found out we were infringing on someone else's trademark. So we switched the name to Addiction Management. And what we did there was we provided interventions, we did recovery coaching, and we did transports for facilities and for families and for people who are struggling with alcoholism and drug addiction. And I really love helping people, especially in that manner, because, myself and him and many others who have gotten well, we're uniquely qualified to help people who are suffering. Not anybody
Right.
can go and help them. And so it's something that's really special to me, and I really love helping people. However, I didn't like the business side of it. I'm a big business guy, and I love making money, and I love running businesses. But mixing those two things didn't mesh well for me. Helping, getting paid to help people didn't mesh well for me. And so I wanted to get out of that industry because it just didn't click for me. I like doing that for free, and still do to this day, is volunteer and go speak at places and help people. And that's how I'd rather do it as opposed to doing it as a business. So, throughout all that too, Matt and I are investing in stocks, and then Matt convinces me to buy a house with him. And then we buy another house, which turned into a sober living house, which I still own and operate today. It's called Absolute Recovery. We're really cheap, very simple, structured sober living house for men who are wanting to get help and get sober and live a structured new way of life. And so when I made that decision to, man, like I really don't want to work in this industry anymore. I'd rather go, I love real estate. And so as I managed, I'd rather go full-time real estate. And the entire time, Matt and I are, this is just what I'm doing for fun. It's not really like, the game plan wasn't to join Matt on the brokerage, start a construction company with Matt, or an acquisitions arm, or a management company. I just Matt and I think both love just doing deals, and that's what we were doing. And so when I wasn't working in the recovery industry, I probably spent like 40 to 50 hours a week looking at deals, making offers, analyzing deals. Matt and I going to view properties together. And so continued to do that. Then we bought some more real estate. We bought like 11 more units at the end of 2019, and then pandemic hit, and I told Matt, I was like, man, this is the time to go all in, because everybody pulled back and everything shrunk up, when, like, was it Easter, when the president said that, we're only shutting down for 2 weeks, and then once those 2 weeks, it's like, oh, we don't know when we're opening back up. Everything shrunk, and everybody got scared. And I told him, I was like, dude, like the game has changed. If there ever was an advantage, that advantage is not there anymore, and we need to go all in as hard as we can right now. And that's what we did. And a couple months later, like, Matt's second boy was being born, or like about to be born in May, and Matt asked if I wanted to buy into TRE, the brokerage, with him, and help him build that out. And I said, done, like, where's the contract go? And at that time, I think he had about 15 to 18 agents or so. And that was May 13th of 2020. And then since then, we've grown substantially. We've got about 70 agents right now. We started a construction company. We started the acquisitions company with Doreen. And so it's running and gunning.
Yeah. Oh, man. Thank you for that. Might have been honestly the longest monologue we've ever had on the show, and I'm so happy that that's how it came out. Like, that's the best. That's golden. Your whole story you just delivered there for multiple reasons, and I'm trying to even figure out where to begin. I mean, one thing that stands out to me for sure is after hitting that, that back again, that truly back against the wall moment, that it's captivating, right? Because so many people just wonder what it would be like to be you in that situation. And I think a lot of people wonder what it would be like just to wonder, like they don't actually want to be there. And so to know that you've gone from that to where you're at now, like just your first job coming out, how you're talking about Firehouse Subs, like, dude, you've got all the makings for like that Hollywood finish now. And I've only known you through Matt. Another funny thing I'm laughing at here too is you're talking about your journey. Like, this is the first time I've ever seen Alex like not wearing a suit. Like, he's always dressed sharp, for sure. And you'll see that if you check out their YouTube channel, which I'm sure, shout out to Courtney, she does our show notes. Courtney, make sure you look up the I guess is it TRE Real Estate, or no, it'd be Teifke Real Estate. What are you guys on YouTube? What is it?
Teifke Real Estate.
Yeah, TEIFKE Real Estate. Look them up on YouTube. They've got a great podcast that's also picking up a lot of traction. Have had guests on recently of the caliber of Uncle G, Grant Cardone. I know that was a big win for you guys, and pretty cool to see that. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what part of everything you just shared to unpack. But I think the biggest takeaway here is, Alex, like there's hope, right? There's hope out there for anyone. If you are listening to this story right now and you don't feel like you can exponentially grow your future, then just go back, rewind, and listen to it again. And so again, I've only known Alex since he's entered into the world of real estate. I had no idea about, the oil and gas, he said mineral rights, computers. Like, you ended up getting a pretty solid like crash course in every industry after getting out of jail. And the fact, maybe I don't know if I tied this in yet, but like the fact that you are tapping into your true purpose, which is serving those who have kind of been where you've been. It's the perfect combination for what I think so many of us kind of find ourselves in the situation of figuring out, what is my true calling? What is my true purpose? And for you, it sounds like, one, doing deals, and two, helping the people that were in, shoes that you've been before. And I'm sure you've probably seen some success stories too, like people overcome and kind of live a life like yours. So I want to give a little bit of highlight to the real estate side of the business. Because you guys have definitely, as you mentioned, you went from what was it, 12 or 11 agents to 70 agents now. Definitely have a nice footprint there in Austin. I know some fantastic people that work for you. So I guess just run us through what you guys are doing now and what's on the horizon, because you are growing exponentially on the real estate side of things too, from what I can see.
Yeah. There's a ton of moving parts with all these companies. And what's on the horizon now is just continue the path that we're on. Game plan's not changing, just getting better and doing more things, getting a little bit more creative. One of Matt's favorite sayings that he heard from you is he experienced the most wins. And that's, to a certain extent, is just trying different things out. On the wholesaling side of things, we just went to a different model. We did have some of our real estate agents doing it for us, very part-time and kind of on their own schedule. We stopped that model and we've hired full-time people Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 a.m. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. They're in the office. They're hitting the phones on acquisitions. They're hitting the phones on dispositions. We've got a TC. We've got junior acquisition agents who are, cold contacting these prospects, feeding potentially warm leads to the acquisition manager. So that's humming and getting in its rhythm. We've been doing that for about a month now. On the brokerage side of things, it's just constantly looking at like, where can we get better? How can we add more to benefit our agents, to benefit the company, to benefit the team? So working through that right now while growing and building. And we have a huge emphasis on the marketing. We truly believe in the podcast. We believe in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, all of it. We spend a lot of money on marketing, trying to build out these social platforms. And so trying to figure that out too, like that's hard to figure out, I know Matt struggles with it a lot, and we talk about it constantly. Is like, why are these channels not getting the traction we expect them to? Like, we see somebody else doing it and we're like, man, they have 20,000 YouTube subscribers or whatever it is. Like, how come we're not getting that traction? But I actually think that it's doing its job. And of course we can get better and learn more and do things differently. But it really works in the sense that everybody who watches our content, I think the biggest value we get, and I think it's well worth the money alone that we spend for just this value, is that, all the people who don't know us personally, who watch our content, feel like they know us. And then by the time it comes time to do business with us, they feel like they know us, they trust us, they know what we're about, and it's much easier to do business together. And I think that alone is working. Construction company, again, major changes. We that was new. And that's, that's a project because you got 3 different partners, and each partner is an entity with 2 other people inside the entity. So it's 6 partners. So, partnerships can be very hard, for people who may not know. Matt and I's partnership works out really well. Doreen, Matt and I's partnership works out really well. And the construction partnership works out really well. However, sometimes they don't. And it's hard enough with 2 people, let alone 6.
And out of every sector you just kind of subsector you just named, construction naturally is probably the most challenging to manage out of those 3 as well, just to begin with.
Yes, and I did not know that. Construction is chaos. And but we've got some really great partners that operate that. Matt's role in each one of each one of the businesses is networking and business development, really. He gets leads, he meets people, he goes to the meetings, he networks. My job is operations and overseeing our finances for all of them. For construction, now it's only overseeing the finances, but our other partners do an amazing job running the operations for construction. And we hired a consultant to come in and help us out because, we grew. So we partnered with someone who had the existing business, and he was doing about $1 million or so a year just by himself. And within like 3 months or so, we had quadrupled what he had done like the previous year. And so it was just extreme chaos. Like, we're a brand new company. We're doing a lot of work. We're trying to build new systems out, and it's just insane. But we hired a consultant to come in and help us, and now that is running very, very smoothly and organized and streamlined. And so everything's doing really well. It's just once it gets settled and streamlined and systematized, we push the limits a little bit to try and go further. And then we got to do the same thing again and streamline and resystematize. And I think it's just right now, it's a constant growth mode of that.
I love it, man. I love it. There's something you said there too that puts a huge smile on my face. But before that, I guess let our viewers know we are going to start winding it down now. So maybe we'll get in a moment, we'll get Alex's contact information and like a couple cool, fun questions. But so think back, as he mentioned, 2015 or 2016, maybe was that, when did you start working at Firehouse Subs?
Late 2015.
Late 2015. So that was like the beginning of the comeback. Here we are, 2021. It's very cool to see how someone who was maybe there happy for $8.50 an hour. Just now casually, guys, if you notice, in conversation was like, yeah, they were doing like $1 million in revenue last year and we quadrupled that. Like, notice how casually he just said that. 850 to millions is kind of like what I'm seeing here. And just, have no reason to expect the best and more for you guys. Like, it's so cool to see. And I'm like, if you go back to the beginning of this episode, I'm like, I know you had a story, but like, could you talk about it? Ended up just crushing it. So anyways, as I said, Alex, what's the best way for our listeners to follow up and get in touch with you? And guys, any investors out there who are interested in the Austin and Round Rock market, this is your boots on the ground right here, if you haven't noticed. But what's the best way to get in touch with you, Alex?
Give me a call, 512-517-1360. Shoot me an email at alex@trehomes.com. That's a great way to reach out, and I'll be there.
Love it. So real quick, your number, 512-517
1360.
1360. Boom. That is in the Facebook chat. All right. We got some more lovely faces joining us here. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Alex, we got to get you in the group now. I think you might already be in there. I'm not sure. But yeah. And then let's do a fun question. Two fun questions. One, I won't say favorite book because it's tough to kind of zone in on one, but the best book that comes to your head, like top of mind right now. And then we'll say favorite thing to eat for breakfast.
All right. Favorite book is Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. Everybody likes Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I love it too, but I think Cash Flow Quadrant is great for those who are past that point of starting a business and it's time to figure out where you want to go. And then I don't eat breakfast.
I had a feeling like I was going to ask that question. Does he eat breakfast?
But I will tell you, man, I love to eat. You know, I have so many favorite foods. But tonight I ate one of my favorite foods, which was soup dumplings.
You got to tell me what that is.
It's dim sum. It's,
okay.
You know, real Chinese. They don't speak English. Get some pork. The best place, in my opinion, in Austin is Julie's Noodles over off 183 in Peyton Gin, and get the crab and pork soup dumplings.
Okay, so just say that one more time. Is it Julie's Noodles? What's it called?
Yep, Julie's Noodles.
And it's off of what?
183 and Peyton Gin Road.
There you go, guys. I will be in Austin soon enough. We're looking at, let's see, what is it? We're looking at September and October. I don't know why it took me so long to think that. So hope to be seeing you soon, man. And I'm happy that we finally got to make this connection, because I know we've been seeing each other's, you know, like you said, we've been seeing each other's face, the marketing for a while. Finally connected the dots tonight. So way to be ready to, you know, just hop on a call too. A lot of people won't just randomly pick up and do an interview for an hour like this, but you got what it takes. And I'm sure that's going to continue to take you far as well, man. So there you go. Any other parting words or closing remarks?
No, I appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to meeting you when you come down to Austin. And do we end it with bye, Grandma?
Yeah, let's do that. Bye, Grandma. Thank you for listening. And hey, you know what? Grandma Coffman, or if it's a different last name, different maiden name, thank you for listening and checking us out here too. If you got to watch this episode, got to give love to the grandmas. So guys, this has been episode 160 of Dream Chasers, Interviews with the Future. We were joined by Alex Coffman, all around OG and entrepreneur, and he likes real estate, which is cool. That's why we originally became friends. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next episode. Oh, and how could I forget? And all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level. Thank you once again for investing your most valuable resource with us here today, your time. If you enjoyed today's episode, please drop a 5-star rating and a review below. Take a screenshot of it and send it over to nextlevel@carswell.io. We have a present for you. We really appreciate you guys leaving those reviews, because it really helps with the overall SEO and visibility of the show and allows us to continue to bring on high quality guests. So once again, thank you. And remember, take it to the next level.